Alrighty. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad in Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We welcome Asher from Tennessee. Robert, shalom to you in Boston. Andrea's with us in Phoenix, Boker Tov. Andrew in Springfield, New Jersey, welcome. Liba, Davida are in New York. Good morning. And Diane is with us traveling. Arizona, maybe. Did I get that right? Sarah is Mexico. Okay. Thank you for joining. Belina Boker Tov. And Michael from Germany, welcome. Julie is with us from Florida. Tim is in Texas. Lori in North Carolina. Pamela in Virginia. Welcome. Eugenia in Calgary. Ita in, I forgot, you have to remind me. AJ, Indonesia. Welcome. Rina in Colorado. Boker Tov. Michael is with us in Virginia. Gustavo in Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. And in Texas, we have Eliana with us. We have David in Baccia. We have Deshaun, welcome. Leah in Florida is with us. Scotty in Tennessee, hello. Philip in Texas. Isha Yaakov, not certain from where, but welcome. Clubhouse, we have Baccia, Vilma, David, Shmuel, Tim, Liana, Adam. Instagram, Alice, Mendy, Ente de la Venta, Koi. All right, beautiful. We continue in the compiler's forward. Today, some very strong statements that the Alter Rebbe makes. Very powerful. So, till now, in the first part of the foreword, the Alter Rebbe was actually making an argument against the book of why having a mentor and going to your Rebbe for a private audience, Yechidus, will help you find the path in life that you need to take, how to truly serve God. And much better than a book where you might not find your way. And not every book talks to every person. But definitely your mentor, definitely your Rebbe will be able to talk to you. So now is the counter-argument. So the Alter Rebbe says, and then ultimately the argument for this book. Alter Rebbe says, I speak, however, to those who know me well, each and every one from Anash, from the Hasidic community in particular, that affectionate words have been often exchanged in private audience. And to those people who reveal to me the hidden recesses of their heart and their mind in matters that are related to the service of God, which of course service of God is dependent on the heart. So the Alter Rebbe says to them, right, and he doesn't mean, he says to them, he doesn't mean literally just to them in that generation, but to all those who truly want to serve God. So he says to them, my words seep through, and my tongue shall be in the form of a scribe's pen. In these, what the Alter Rebbe calls contrasting pamphlets that are entitled Likutei Amorim, a compilation of teachings, what we're learning, what we're going to embark upon. These teachings have been compiled from books and teachers of the heavenly saintliness that are known to all, some which we mentioned in the title page. So all of them are answers to the many questions posed continuously by those seeking me advice, each person according to their stature in their divine service, so that they be able to get the proper guidance. It says, because there's time is no longer permits, the Alter Rebbe says that I could reply to everyone individually in their particular query. And secondly, because forgetfulness is common. Therefore, I've preserved, says the Alter Rebbe, as a sign and to serve as a reminder to everyone. In other words, in writing this book, it says sign and a reminder to everyone, because, you might forget something, but if it's in a book, you can always come back to it. No longer will one need for a private audience, the Alter Rebbe says. Why? Because these Likutei Amorim, there's a very powerful statement over here. Oh, so 1 second. I forgot a line before. It says, because people are forgetful, therefore I've recorded all of the replies to all the questions. Sorry. All the replies to all the questions. And therefore, since they're in a book, they're going to be preserved as a sign and a reminder for everyone. And therefore, no longer do you need private audience, because these teachings that are in Likutei Amorim, you will be able to find tranquility for your soul and true counsel on everything that a person finds difficult in the service of God. Therefore, your heart should be firmly secure in God, who provides everything for us. Then the Alter Rebbe continues and says, a person their mind might be too limited to understand how to derive the advice from these teachings. Therefore, second point is that they should discuss whatever issue that they're having with foremost scholars and those who are devoted to the teachings, because they will help them, they will enlighten you. And of these teachers, the Alter Rebbe requests, do not lay your hand upon your mouth. In other words, to keep silent. Someone's asking for advice, don't, put your hand to your mouth, and, out of fear that maybe, oh my, what am I, out of pride, you're going to get, filled with too much pride. The Alter Rebbe says, don't conduct yourself with false modesty and humility, because that's a misplaced and false modesty. As is known that there's a punishment for someone who withholds food meaning Torah knowledge, right? That someone withholds Torah knowledge from someone who seeks it. So don't withhold the food, don't withhold the vitality. The Alter Rebbe is speaking to these teachers, right? And furthermore, how great is the reward that a person is granted when they share the knowledge. As the verse says, God enlightens the eyes of them both. Meaning, there it's speaking about a pauper and a wealthy person. So God gives to both of them. So that's what the simple meaning of the verse is in Mishlei. And the Gemara says the pauper is someone who is poor in Torah knowledge. And then there's the wealthy one who is wealthy in Torah knowledge. So the wealthy one has to give to the poor one from their knowledge. And it's not it's not that you're giving, you're giving your time away, and maybe you could have studied more and become greater, deeper knowledge. Nope. The light that you will get will transcend the both of you, and you'll be both enlightened with God's light. Because God will cause his face to shine upon them with the light of his countenance of the King who provides life. So, the Rebbe concludes, may he who provides life to the living grant us the privilege of living to see the days when no longer will one man need teach another to know me, to know God, for they will all know me, from the smallest to the greatest. For the knowledge of God will fill the earth as the waters fill the sea. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. Amen. May it be his will. Whew. Powerful. Let's unpack this. So the Alter Rebbe is saying, I know you. I know you intimately. I know what's in your mind. I know what's in your hearts. And because I know you so well, I have the answers to all of your questions. That's a very powerful statement. Oh, that's a Rebbe. That's a Rebbe. And therefore, this book has the answers to all of your questions. And so, first of all, that's what a Rebbe is. A Rebbe knows the souls of people. Now, when it comes to divine service, or it comes, everybody's saying, well, he doesn't know me. I'm different. Well, sorry, you're not. You're not different. When it comes to serving God, we all have the same issues and struggles. They come from the animal soul. We all have the issue about, how to identify with the godly soul. We may put it in different terms. It may be different circumstance. But the issues, the struggles, are the same. They're not any different. Struggles in marriage, struggles with raising children properly, struggles with how to deal with livelihood and the lack of it perhaps, or maybe, so much money that, those are all the same issues throughout all of the generations. So the Alter Rebbe says, I know you intimately. And that was in his times. And things don't change. And that's really, actually, when you think about it, other so-called self-help books. I mean, this is not a self-help book. This is Torah. This is divine wisdom. But that being said, self-help books, there's always new ones coming out and with new ideas and so on. You don't need new ideas. I mean, maybe you need a new technique, but not new philosophy. In other words, maybe you need a new technique or a method to apply it. But the concepts are the same. Human nature is human nature. Animal soul is the animal soul. The godly soul is the godly soul. That doesn't change. And furthermore, the Alter Rebbe knows intimately these people, and those people back then are these people, you and I, right here today. and the Alter Rebbe, so humble he is, yet, what does he say? I have recorded all of the replies to all the questions. It's all here in this book. All of the replies to all the questions. Wow. And therefore, we can find tranquility. Because true counsel on everything. True counsel on everything, everything meaning everything to serve God. If you want to find, the lottery tickets, if you want to, or you want to find, how should you run your business? If it's about serving God. So then you can get your answers. If it's just about how to make money, well, no. So even though, there are things you could take an understanding from here, but no, it's about, I'm here to serve. How do I do that? How do I do it in a way that's real? How do I do it in a way that's full of love and awe of God? It's not a ball and chain. Because that's usually, service is usually ball and chain. It's like, like a servant has to serve. So if we're serving, you got to do it. But, it's not necessarily something I want to do. How's it becomes you that you want to do it? How's it become that it's something that you have a geschmack? You really enjoy it. As opposed to, I got it, I got to do it. Now, of course, sometimes it'll be that, but that's not where we're going. How could you live this with a real zest for life, a zest for it? So the Alter Rebbe is going to give this. Now, second point, and I guess this point really talks to me because sometimes I say to myself, I've been teaching this is now the 16th cycle online, starting with Chabad.org on the website. There I have lengthy classes, really lengthy classes that I started more than a dozen years ago. Before, firstly, started just in the Chabad house daily. Then I went in the Chabad house and did online also. Then 5-minute Tanya, daily 5-minute Tanya, and then we've come here to these platforms now, and doing it for a long time. So aside from the fact that it is fresh for me and it's new and alive, even though I've done it now, teaching this way, 16th cycle, nonetheless, thinking to myself, continue, not continue. So these words are very powerful. The Alter Rebbe says that, people, there are going to be people who are not going to be able to learn this on their own. I think something that Eliana brought up the other day, right? That you need the book, but you also need someone who can help to appreciate the book. So hence, I speak to myself and continue to teach this in this manner. That being said, might need to take this to another level also of more particular personal stuff that we can find our way, and that's going to be available soon. We're going to let you know about that. Okay, that we can here. I'm sure we're getting a lot of meaning and so on, but how to make it and the things I'm going through. All right. Questions, comments. About this. I have a question. What does this mean to you, what the Alter Rebbe says over here? That I've recorded all of the replies to all the questions. So think about that for a moment. Okay. And I want to see if I have any questions or any comments over here. Reminder, Rambam today, 1 o'clock. Just one moment. Yeah, just give me a moment, please. I just want to check here before I lose the feed. Oh, no. If you have a question, please, question mark before or a statement. Please, either question marks or. Oh, no, okay. Thank you, Lori. Batya, please.
Hi, good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say, for me personally, the Rebbe's words give me a security, knowing that his responses to everyone's questions came from the Tanya, that all the answers are there. There's security in knowing that, and not just that we could still write to the Rebbe and receive answers today.
Right. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Just a comment over here about that. We live in a day and age today that people are going to therapy. Back in the day, people were not so quick to go, and today people are much quicker to go to therapy. And not to discourage anybody from it, that's not my point over here. What the Alter Rebbe is saying is that ultimately the therapy that you can get from Tanya is it's all there. It's all there. The question is, if we open up our eyes to it, and that's what we want, and if we want to truly serve. A lot of times we go to therapy, and it's not because we want to serve, it's because we want to be served, right? So how could I be served better in my marriage? How could I be served better in life and get more out of it? And Tanya that's not the angle. How could I serve better God? Which means, how am I going to be in a relationship in the best appropriate way, the way God wants me to be? And therefore, I truly believe that in Tanya, we can get so much of the answers. That's why, we're going to have this group of, so to speak, Tanya therapy that can really help. Many of you have seen how it helps you in so many different ways. We need to take it to the next level so we can allow it to help us even more so. Eliana, please share.
Morning. A couple things. One is, with regards to your question of whatever the question was now. I can't even put the words together. But
I've recorded all of the replies to all the questions.
Yes, that's it. I think that it makes so much sense because, as I'm a life coach, so I help people, get unstuck when they feel stuck with whatever life is. And people feel stuck for the same reasons. They may be presented in a different way, but the reasons all seem to come back to the same few box of reasons. So, at first glance, if someone isn't familiar with the Alter Rebbe or the Tanya, they're going to be like, how can this person answer all the questions? And I think it's because all the questions are the same. And across time, across cultures, it's just people have the same spark and we have the same type of pre-post, maybe at different levels, but once we start pulling back those layers, the questions become the same.
Yes,
but
very
I'm
good.
also thinking with regards to last night's class, just talking about tranquility, and Yosef thinking, now I've gone through all this, and now I just want that tranquility, and then Yosef started, or sorry, Yaakov wanting that tranquility, and then the Yosef story started, in which through the next number of years into, anything but tranquility. And I think what the Tanya can do for that, because we all have that sense of we want peace, but then life happens and life constantly happens, is that in the midst of life happening where we don't feel that tranquility, we can find the answers and find that tranquility within the words of the Tanya.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, very true. So Alice is asking, she's wondering what kind of questions people had. Well, we're getting the answers over here, and and again, it's not so much important the questions, it's to have the answers, because I'll ask my question in my way, and you'll ask your question your way, and the answer might be the same, even though they're different questions. So it's not so important, because there'll be always a different nuance in the question, and we think our question is very unique and different, and in the end, it's all the questions have a similarity to them, and it's about the struggle that we go through, and therefore, how to answer, what aspect to answer. That's what the Alter Rebbe is giving us. We have our questions, so I don't think it's so important what their questions particularly were. We have our questions, and what the Alter Rebbe is saying. Stick it out through, and you'll see that your questions will be answered. That's what he's saying. Leah, very powerful. I'm in awe. It is also a great comfort to me, knowing any question I have of real importance, I can find the answer. Absolutely. And again, if we don't feel that we have the answer, so the Alter Rebbe said, that's why you need the teacher, the mentor, that can help to find how the answer is there in Tanya. But thank you for sharing that. David has a question. This may be, okay. Oops. How and where are we looking for our answers in Tanya when we are having challenges, rather than looking at self-help books and other avenues? I'm not clear how and where. Well, again, if we're learning Tanya, and not just learning Tanya, but trying to live it and apply what we learn. So, I guess there's two ways to answer a question. There's two ways. You can ask a question, how much is 2 plus 2? And you get a straightforward answer. It's 4. Right? Simple. But then you can ask another question, and maybe it's not so simple, right? How do I deal with this challenging situation? And rather than getting a direct answer, what you do is you've learned Tanya, and let's say you learned a month's worth of Tanya, and all of a sudden you look back and say, I had a question on how to deal with this situation. I don't have that question anymore, because my perspective on life, my perspective on viewing me and my relationships are very different now from this month of learning of Tanya. I'm giving a way of example. And now that I look back, a month ago I had this question, it's gone, because I see things differently. That's what the Alter Rebbe is trying to do with us, is to give us, in his such great kindness, to give us the view of life, how he sees it, and that we can see it the same. And if we can see it that way, what that does is, give us a different perspective, different eyeglasses, that now that which before was, very distant, all of a sudden I got 20/20 vision. I see it clearly. I understand it. I get it. And it's not an issue anymore. That is the type of way that it's going to be answered. It's not going to be, I've got this question, let me find which chapter is giving me the answer. Maybe in a self-help book you could do that. I've got an issue on how to, whatever. So maybe chapter 3 in this self-help book is going to give you the answer to this particular thing. That's not the way this is really going to work. So, David, I think, I hope that helps to clarify things. This is a very good point that you're bringing up. It is by allowing Tanya's vision to become our vision, the way we perceive the world. If we start perceiving the world that way, then we're going to live a different reality, and we will respond to things in a very different way. I hope that's clear, because that's a very important point. Right? That's what the alternative is. Changing our view on reality, and therefore answering our questions, or doing away with the question. Usher, isn't the most effective situation to be involved in the Chabad community where one sees life of a dedicated Chabad couple working in their faith and service while teaching the principle of Tanya and Hasidism? They are very busy, but Tanya is there, also very busy, but the Tanya is there for our generation. So yes, you're right. The Chabad Shliach and Shluchim are an embodiment of the teachings, and therefore, embodiment. I shouldn't say that. Try to embody at least, because after all, who are we? We're not a Beinani. We're a BITs, Beinani in training. So we're in training. So yes, the Shliach and Shlucha, the Chabad emissaries, they're trying to embody the teachings, and therefore, when you go to a Chabad house and involved, in a Chabad house, that will give you the opportunity to embody the teachings, to live the teachings, because when you see someone else living it, it helps you live it, right? Because it's then not just in a book, but you see it somewhat in practice. Margot Lazata says, Tanya has all the answers. You don't need to look elsewhere. Thank you for sharing that. Davida says, is there any question that can't be answered? Yeah, the one you don't want an answer to. Sometimes we just want to sit in our own, filth, and we are very happy to be there, to sit in a dunghill. So you have to have the desire. Without the desire, it's not going to help, of course. Lori, can one who suffered from abuse as a child find healing? Oh, for sure. For sure. Again, I'm not here to dissuade anybody from any other kind of therapy. I don't want to do that. But I am here I'm not here, I'm just voicing what the Alter Rebbe is saying, is that all the answers to questions. So even someone who's been abused, I do believe you can find your healing here if you choose to. But if a person feels that they need, some therapy, by all means, by all means. Davida, is there any relevance to people asking the questions and to the 4 sons asking questions on Pesach? I'm sure there is. I just, don't know exactly. Batsheva says, I am an example. Clearly, yes. Okay, thank you for sharing that. All right, folks. I need to go teach elsewhere now. teach the seminary girls. So beautiful, beautiful. When we come back on Sunday, we'll start chapter 1. Exciting. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad Zerich and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Wishing everybody a wonderful day, good Erev Shabbos, and a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Good Shabbos.